nationally or even internationally on what is being done to create a safer environment in the sense that, as I said, right now it is protect yourself. And if you have a weak lock, to use an analogy with your own house, if you have a weak lock, I mean, does that give a burglar permission to kick in your door? And this is the kind of analogy that you see very often. Your security is weak, so you know you can be hacked or you should be hacked, etc. I mean, what is being done nationally, regionally, internationally to create a safer environment for the business?
Very, very appropriate question, because you're absolutely right. It's a multifaceted solution. To continue with my example of the physical world, the criminality is controlled or not controlled by security systems in homes, doors, locks, alarm systems, as well as a joint effort with police. So there's actually patrols on the road curtailing the crime. The exact same scenario needs to exist in terms of information security. You need to do your own part. And I can go the debate both ways on whether a small enterprise, small little mom and pop store can afford security, but in my opinion they can, because their security needs will be inherently less, so they don't need the large scale security. But let's park that for now. But for sure there needs to be some entity patrolling the ICT streets, and the only way you're going to get that is when the governments of this region start thinking in that direction. That's going to require a breed of politician that's relatively uncommon.
Okay, thank you very much. I have another question for you. Any questions? I will probably pose one more question. I have made a note while you were speaking. Right, you made it.
Is it me?
Yeah, sorry, it's you again. You made an observation with respect to emails, which said basically if you don't want it seen, don't send it. Certainly, yes, I've seen other analogies where it's like writing on the back of a postcard and putting it in the mailbox. Of course, the mailman takes it up, you can look at it very plainly. And I know even now some of the online services like Google do full scans of the email to push advertising and so on. But in terms of encryption, there are products out there like PGP, for example, and so on. Do you think this is again a direction that we should go in as a region, or is this a policy that should be pushed nationally, especially with respect to government communications? Should there be a policy that these messages should be encrypted as standard?
Absolutely. The trick with it is all of those security standards, public key sharing, private key sharing, PGP, there's one called Satan, nobody take that the wrong way. They all incur or cause you to incur cost, expense. And that's where a proper legislative body comes in, because if a government doesn't enforce that, health insurance, health companies, banks, and even themselves as government setting the example, if they don't force those corporate entities to spend the money, they're not going to, because their interest is usually pretty well protected. It's really more in the consumer's interest to make sure that protection is there. So yes, I do feel it needs to be legislated, but before it's even legislated, or probably at the same time when it's legislated, government needs to start setting the example.
Of course, we have the other challenge in that any message that is encrypted has to be decrypted, and if we move in that policy direction, may not just be a case of encrypting government communication, but then in terms of who we communicate to as well, there needs to be that security on the other end.
I agree.